Congratulations, Master. You are down to 1%. Alright, chat, let's do it again. Dr. Master.
Welcome back. I just took a break, played some NASCAR. I didn't stream this time for the NASCAR. I didn't feel like it, but yeah, we're back. More training, more plays, more days, more games to win. I hope. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot something. All right. Oh, Gary Cap. 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 Let's get you right. Oh, Gary Cap. Let's rip the days like Mary Cats. Let's get it.
to eat eggs, and they say, "Yep, yep, that's right, that's our God." Yep, that's the problem. It's not at all the problem. Guys like to eat eggs. People like him to talk about the way that he talks about it. They talk about what they're going to do. Guys like him have been winning wars for 5,000 years, 10,000 years. This is all what how it's been. That's the I can guarantee that if you go back, like, and you look at the beginnings of the Mongolian Empire, if you look at like how the kind of stuff that Genghis Khan would say, it's probably a lot more excellent than you imagine. Now, it's obvious, it's completely fucking obvious. Yeah. And yeah, anyways, he's from more videos. Amazing. Still, I haven't seen that. I'll look for more of these too. I'm obviously, I just wanted to show people that because there are a lot of disagreements and misunderstandings on Reddit, intentional misunderstandings about this. So I'm not about hearing from them trying to kill them. Yeah, this would be shit, which is why I said over time. Yeah, that's right. And that's the guy that's trying to fund the problem. That was the rise. And the mass protests that ever happened across Cuba, too. You're getting that hope or contagious and the change the action. The people of Syria thought February needed. The people of Venezuela saw Assad fall. That was from Syria. The people of Iran saw Maduro arrested. You know who that is. The people of Lebanon and Cuba have seen Khomeini fall. The world is changing. Thank fucking God. We are getting away from these third world shitholes run by a bunch of retards. This is amazing. Every third world shithole that promotes these terrorist ideologies, that fucking religion, is getting demolished. They're getting totally demolished. They're getting literally knocked off more than one. Like, we are averaging one shitty country a month. It's amazing. No, and also, by the way, just for Venezuela, so you can see how well this is working. Venezuela released more political prisoners in the capital of Caracas. The three people were greeted by cheering supporters and family members. Yeah, how about that? Wow. Thank you very much. Assad was the most secular ruler you could hope for in Syria. He was assaulted by ISIS nonstop. Being secular doesn't make you good. Like, what are you talking about? But the problem isn't the religion. The problem is the way that the ideology is applied. Of course, they have freedom. That makes it doesn't affect anyone. What you think. And now it's not for all of us, but for all of us. So I just want y'all to see this. They increase funding for the Secret Service. We'll have it on. And nobody will believe this. Okay, so sirens go again. Republicans, every single Republican, every single Democrat. Isn't it crazy how the Republicans and Democrats can immediately come together to agree on funding the Secret Service for more money because they both benefit from the Secret Service? Isn't that insane? Imagine if we actually had them that thought they had a vested interest in the country. Think about how much we could get done. Too bad. Too bad. A long time. And that's to increase the funding of the Secret Service. So I thank everybody for talking. But if I were the president, I would inform the friendly country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. Anybody saying I didn't vote for this wasn't listening. They weren't listening. Anybody who voted Trump and was positive for Trump towards the election. I don't know if I'm gonna watch this today or not. We'll see what happens. But I'll go through this. But what does that look like? Traditional strategy. Set the terms. All know they're not getting qualified. They'll be a point where they have no choice to do that. But whether they don't or not, they have been combat effective. They will surrender.
Nice.
So, person, that's part of the family. There's a lot of different ways, whether they want to admit it or not. Person, person, and it's part of the family. And there's a lot of different ways, whether they want to admit it or not. Oh my God. They want to admit it or not, or they want to say that about it or not. Some folks have been trying to do that. So we're not flying the mission accomplished banner. Unfortunately, Bush on there. We're not doing that. That's probably remember he was in the military. And that's the thing is, I bet there are a lot of guys that are between the ages of 45 and 65, probably that are like, yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right, yeah. Finally get it. You know, yeah. You know, that you like him, excellent. I think great. I love him. We haven't done that. But we can do people that this is not their life. And that's on purpose. Our people really are overwhelmed compared to what they're on. So I'm trying to combine our Air Force with the Air Force, which is really Air Force. The two most powerful Air Forces in the world. The ability for us to move up over the top and hunt it with more conventional munitions, gravity bombs, 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 2,000 pound bombs on military targets. We haven't really done to start that after the campaign. We're just going to show people more how we will execute on those objectives. So he's saying we're not going to move on to, oh boy, he's so excited about killing them. Yeah, I know. He's saying great. Thank God. Like we finally have somebody who's in charge of the military. His goal is to win the war. Just thank fucking God. Yes, exactly. Of course. This is, yeah, William. But by the way, what do you think Genghis Khan was? What do you think, any, Winston Churchill was like? What do you think any sort of military commander was like? Do you think they were just like, these guys, I guess we're going to have to do this? No. No. That's not what it was at all. Yeah, Alexander and Attila the Hun. Yeah, what are we talking about? Napoleon, like, these guys. Man, I guess we're gonna have to do it again. Oh, bro, this is sad. I started thinking more often. No matter how slow you are, or you lose your arms, legs, face, and those are that voice that have your arms up around. That's a big focus because they had it might have been a much different story. They may have been much more capable of had he lived as capable of vicious violence and capable get rid of him first of all. And we did so many things. I mean, we've done so many things. As you know, Saturday I drove to Dover Air Force Station with the families of six fallen warriors
Man. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Early B rank. I usually don't get that till I started senior year or down here.
great job handling the medicine men and women that are incredible scientists. It's a beautiful thing. That was also very sad. But they all said one thing to me. Make sure you win, sir. Make sure you win. They say, yeah, we are playing. Yeah, you want to have fun. I want to make sure that everybody said it. Dr. Humphrey was separate. But everybody's all said we're one in many ways. But everyone, I know. Oh boy. He's live? Oh my God. He's already live again. This is true? Holy shit. Getting rid of the nuclear threat around the big moment in history. And great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. So with all of these things, taking major strides toward completing our military objectives. Some people could say they're welcome to wipe every single force in Iran out very completely. Most of Iran's naval power is south on the bottom of the sea. Over 50 ships. I just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many. Drone manufacturing has been starting today. You know, all the places that manufacture drones and they're being hit one after another. Their missile capability is down to about 10%, maybe less. We're also hitting when they make missiles, or the way they deliver missiles. We've struck over 5,000 targets to date. Some of them are major targets. And we've left some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. If we hit them, it's going to take many years for them to be resolved. Having to do with electricity production or many other things. So we have nothing to do with that if we don't have to. But the kind of things that are easy to hit is very devastating if they are hit. Waiting for
Sunny days.
before we hit them. We could take the ball out in one day, but it's all resulting in a 90% decline in various things, but in particular, Iranian missile launches and 83% drop in drone launches. Wow, now the drone launches are pretty well shot. We're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launches, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we try to do through great smart people, as soon as they send the missile up from a launch, we're able to knock out that launch within a period of 5 minutes or less. Accurately right on the nine. And now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones. I guess I said our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs, destroyed missile launchers all over Iran. And very deep under Iranian soil and so no match. Then we're also evaluating the manufacturing base of the uses to build drones. And missiles at some rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out. We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership, wasted maybe 3 times. And we want to be involved. We want to do what I want to do. So we think we should put a president in or the head of the country in that's going to be able to do something peaceful. But we're going to put in for 47 years, killing people for 47 years. Whether it's the barracks or the SS Paul when they were involved, first Paul when they were very strong involved. And all of the people that died through the roadside bomb died in the army with no legs, no arms. A nation that's been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror for 47 years. And things like this guy shopping over these stores out there, nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago. They told us the wood council, they said it right over here. They said, they actually said we want to keep building essentially in a real nutshell. We want to continue to build nuclear weapons. Because we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer. We didn't knock out their radiant potential. If we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have finished it long before now. And at a minimum, Israel would have been annihilated. I was very lucky that we had the courage to do that. And we had the talent and the great equipment to bomb. We're 25 more, by the way. The newer better version. Here's what I was talking about. Yeah, the greatest equipment in the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You see the people that operate it, use it. And those are the people that we cherish. Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated into it. They still continue to say we want to build nuclear, we want enrichment at levels that were unacceptable. And they even turned down an order unlimited free nuclear fuel for civilian purposes. We have people offering them free nuclear fuel because we wanted to build nuclear weapons. So instead, the regime was trying to, we're going to us through this weapons program and we want to have it right. We couldn't go back to where they were, the three sites that we obliterated. But there was not even another side, different kind of a soil. And that was protected by granite. They wanted to protect granite was good, but they wanted it protected by a lot deeper. They wanted to go a lot deeper. They started on the process while rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles that were no longer staying time, threat overseas bases that could have reached even our homeland. The regime's intention was to use this exponential growth ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which have been usually destroyed. And were unsuccessful at the time. Just the guy who goes, incredible to the patriots. Unbelievable. And the laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming out of point. The lasers are through the world and a lot less loss through the world. What to make this destroyed the point of no return in the United States found it intolerable. In my opinion, based on what Steve Jared, he, other intelligent market so far, that I thought that they were going to protect us. I thought that we didn't do this at the time we did it. I think that's my concern. They attacked their neighbors, and the neighbors were large or at least were involved in the fact that they got attacked. And it had a reverse. They just came onto our side and started attacking them. Actually, quite successful. The Donald Secretary was Saudi Arabia, with the UAE, Qatar, and others. But they were strong, they were smart. They got attacked. Nobody, when I first started, I said that somebody made a mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles traveling, almost all of them. On the very first day I came down, yesterday, 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping guys, you never come to me. I said, they come now. Wow. For a long time. We want to keep it in we continue operation. And the future will also focus on much, much harder than I will think I can start with simple easy. And then I mentioned this before, we'll take about so quick. You'll never be able to recover. Never. If you want to play that game, you better not play that game. Go long run around some fun. And okay, force it through without the threat of you're probably the war we were finished. We're finished with the service street. So, remain safe. Have a lot of safety tips there. And the ships that would bring us expecting for mines. Again, most of the ships are down in the bottom of the sea. But we will so hard that it will not be possible for them or anybody else up with them to ever recover that section of the world. We're doing it in recent years. Got a long way to that. There are proxies of war attacks for hundreds of days on the Canada. Performing events in war and threat one before all. The result was polio and the for American families. As well as the United States is operating any tankers operating, we also were putting up mission controls. They can be more perhaps go alongside of the protection necessary.
So I've done less training than normal as far as with the team, but more valuable training.
So great. We have to keep things low. With all of that, thanks a lot. So it's good like there's so much of it. We have tremendous oil, gas, much more than we need. Tremendous oil now is under fire. Great part. Wow, worked out so wonderful. No one is rich, fresh, and massive trust. Oil, gas, everything is terrific. Problem. You say you don't really very good position. But very good on the world of China. The other parts of the world, including like China, get a lot of their oil scrapes. Don't do it. It's a very good relationship. China going there in a short period of time and we're protecting the world from what the really trying to do. And we're successful. And we're also waiting for more related things. So we're thanking for some countries to take those things from the restraints. And it was so much peace. But when the time comes, US Navy want to learn more records, if needed, I hope it's not going to be needed. The state and local sports and record. Make sure that all of us are the greatest minds, quicker ability. We have the greatest ships. All of them know exactly where their friends will get them out of the first pass. We hope we don't have it. And again, if they come out and they play that game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. Our military is the greatest in the world, the greatest equipment, the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran is so powerful. They were going to take over. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over. And we say thousands and thousands. Since their last hit, thousands and thousands of missile lines and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But maybe I think one of these weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries.
Ain't no way you gonna be above it, go. Mm. Maxed out speed, maxed out yeah. Holy crap, she's about to go to A-Ring.
I had a very good call because of get a lot of people now. We were talking about today, a never ending fight. the world. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah. Oh, that's convenient. Got this. Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, on the discouraging for still our stable nation will be over. I'll be with you. Very soon. Look, everything they have is now including the leadership. In fact, there are two levels of leadership that even actually is it turns out more than that. But two levels of leadership in fact. Most people have never even heard of it. That's what people find out about them where it's make a deal. Yeah. What would the United States get in return for that? And why should Americans trust Marco Rubio? I don't want Rubio. Great deal, but he can go down as the greatest secretary of state in history. What we've done is the president's deliberately done as an administration. They trust Marco. And so the American people trust he's been successful no matter what we've done. He also speaks the language, which is always nice to know something. But he's the only one who's maybe friendly takeover, may not be a friendly takeover would matter because they're really down to, as they say, you. They have no energy, they have no money. So, he's tough. All right, humanitarian justice. And we're going to sit there. I think we're very, very bad to a lot of people. Keeping American workers at record levels. People are very important to me. I know what they went through. Some of them are some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban American business people, some of them
There she is.
in the country.
Another. Finally, I got another A rank.
The Castro regime was brutal. But they lived on
I can't wait till she gets released. I'm gonna try and pull her. D dirt, A turf, A mile, A sprint, B medium. Yeah, I could use her. And she's a late surgeon. And possibly an encloser. Ooh. Yo, she would be a dangerous mile encloser. Oh. And she does sprint. I can make her a pace chaser for sprint. I don't know how far off that is. I'd say it's a ways off, but I don't know.
The beginning. So which is it, and how long did it last? Well, I think if you say it right, the beginning is the beginning of building a new country. But they certainly they have no navy, they have no air force, they have no anti-aircraft beginning of building a country. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. No God. So you can look at that sense. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk of that war has been over for 3 days. We went them out in the first 2 days. You think about it, it's incredible. We wiped out a big navy, a powerful navy. These were ships, these were ships that you buy. They're all at the bottom. The sailors were on the ships and
What I'm talking about. One more, yeah. Ocean beat her. Ocean beat. Ocean beat glass. Let's see. Brian beat the gold. So did Right Shower. I saw that. Right Shower also beat.
excursions that a lot of people have done. I do have friends who show up and like they've done it probably less than I thought they show up, but I don't think anybody thought they were going to be this quickly successful. This is a military success the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military. We have the best equipment. We have, I believe, the best general. We have the best. And this went very quickly. We talked about that in President. He was very impressed with what he saw. Nobody's ever said anything quite like it. That is a very powerful when military all of the business stuff. It's a definite stuff. We do like that with us and then not you had
Oh, dual threat. I can also use her for
their capability and they would have
other long seasons
and they would have used it long before they
if she turns out good here at the end.
we had a press conference along. Like the military success that we had, well, it's really unprecedented. Like you said, look at the Russia college, but you were outside. Maybe so much
Let's see.
that includes operation, federal knowledge, just like for every just public health. And that is like the day. It's not a matter of whether or not you're Republican politics or politics.
Let's
It's about
see.
changing the process.
Train power
So in order to get
or speed here or wit.
what we're saying is
I mean, if I train wit, I can train speed.
not the same act, because nobody knew what it was. The same American act.
But then the next train I have to be massive to get it to max speed.
And then voter ID.
Or I can train speed here, get the power up,
A picture of the
and get it close to 1100.
very important confirmation that this voting
Let's see. And also got to remember we get 14 points to all our stats after the win. I'm gonna take it.
overall vote, 86%. Republicans is 98%. Well, the other one voted Democrat leadership. They want to change. So getting those two groups to go to the vote and we'll have to find out that. Now, certain things will happen, certain things will take place, will take some of the country. And we don't have a country, if we're going to have elections that are so
Oh, that's big. I like that.
dishonest, like we witnessed over the last, you know, as you know,
We won't get the max speed, but
nobody has, nobody has a system of mail-in ballots like we have. No other country in the world. France got away from it. They all, you know why? Because it's corrupt. And Jimmy Carter, when he had his commission, frankly, I think it's probably the best thing Jimmy Carter did. He said you can't have mail-in voting because it's inherently not so that much to vote this time. So we'll be fighting. Trying for a long time. Very much a job. One of the things we have to do is get the Democrats to stop the Democrat shutdown. Because, the apparatus that the Superman, Schumer and the Democrats will shut it down, which they probably hate our country a lot. The Democrats have to open that up. But we've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened in Hollywood. A lot of them came into that fight with open border period. But we have them under, we've got them, we're watching every single one of them. Yeah, you know a lot about it. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about it. But the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have. You mean the sun? Well, I don't want to say that, but we think it's going to lead just so I was disappointed to see that. It's over. I like the idea. Internal and external. But I like the idea of internal versus voice. Well, I mean, I think it's worked so far. That as well. We have the woman. Yes. Everybody. The military got fired. The police got fired. Politicians got fired. Nobody. I would like to see set up a job. Say, all right, why not? Well, here we go. With the hard way. The hard way, I think, is probably the easy way. But basically, I can see that they will no longer have any capacity whatsoever at very long periods of developing weaponry that can be used against the United States, Israel, or any of our allies. We don't want to countries that are allies. And they were staying out of it until they got in. Someday they'll sort of why did they do that? Why did they do that? They were going to hit them. Right? Hit them first. They were going to hit our allies first. I believe upon information belief, but I believe that he was going to they were going to take over the police. They were looking to take over the police. Now,
What do you think, boys?
Hammer not taking place, that was definite.
Cash or scrap?
But that took place, I was just said that. But look at the number of missiles they were able to buy and make over the last 6 months. And those missiles were aimed at various countries. And when you look at 1,000 over 1,000 missiles shot at like UAE, they were looking at the first second. I think what the Middle East studies, the very company that I was president, I said to somebody else, I don't think so. Very well. You said it. I would say from South. Then I think he was maybe less enthusiastic about that, but he was quite enthusiastic. But I felt something that I didn't feel that because we didn't deal with it. I felt based on the negotiations that we had, Steve Woodrow, Gary Kushner, Marco, Pete, and everybody, I felt that they were looking to cap us so long before they hit, and I thought they would hit. And if they hit us first, that was pretty good. Yeah, that's like straight. Oh, I want to keep it open. I want to keep it. It doesn't pertain to us so much as it does to China. We're really helping China here and to other countries because they get a lot of their energy from the straits. But I look, we have a good relationship with China. It's my honor to do it. Yeah. Yeah, so they're going to keep selling oil to China, obviously. An unacceptable choice. Does he have a target on his back? I don't want to say whether or not he has because that would be inappropriate. But look, I'm going to do my best as you people know pretty well. They caught the assassin that was after me. So we just got that fixed. We got the assassin. They have him now in custody. So people don't like to mention that, but they did catch him, and I'd like to cover military, secret service, FBI, all of the people that worked on that, but they did, yeah.
Nice. Another that's right. We're working our way up. Man. I almost hit my record. My record's like 14.8, 58, I think.
I'd like to. FBI, they've been very nice. They're great people. They have an amazing population. Amazing.
Okay.
Brilliant. Very high IQ. They have great things. I'd love to help them, but they have to be in a system that allows them to be helped. Right. And right now they're in a system that only allows them to.
How was the two-star? Okay.
And I want a system that's not going to be
Medium.
attacking us. I want a system that can lead to many years of peace. And if we can't have that, we might as well get it over with right now. Yeah. As to say there have been 8 U.S. military fatalities associated with the war in Iran. How many American deaths are we willing to have in this war? Well, as I said before, when you have conflicts like not more than 17. We say 17 is the number. If it's above 17, we end the war. But they only one thing in common. They said one thing every single one. Finish the job, sir. Please finish the job. And I'll leave you at that. Thank you very much, everybody.
That beat my sprint. And she was highly successful.
Nobody thinks about that. They not even think about separate instances of events happening simultaneously. That's impossible to unravel. It's a level of thinking that nobody can even imagine.
Two more S-ranks join the squad.
Converting U.S. missiles are deployed to Gulf countries and says that Iran will strike them. Oh, Iran justification is two missiles. Okay. Honestly, I think this is about what I'd expect. I mean, he said pretty much the same stuff I'd expect him to say. Sure, makes sense. Let me go back. I'll pull a few more of these. This is all the same thing. This is that national life thing. People said there were more missiles. You missed this moment from earlier. Okay, let me pull it up. I gotta find it. Okay, where is this? This is the apartment I didn't even get a chance to see. No, I don't want to brag. No, I don't want to brag. But they took a lot of things to it because we could do some shit. Tell it. The thing is, I know nobody else. I said they said it over time. All right. No, I don't want to brag. But they said this about a lot of things. So the person could do something shit after. longer any room for diplomacy. Prepare for a long war. Short life. All right. Mike Evans was interested in leaving Tampa for a variety of factors. I like the fit, but of course, free agent depends on one day I like all of it. It's a 99
How many times did I do this?
Yeah, Jalen Phillips is signing with
Oh, oh, oh. It means complete. It means complete a run here.
always crazy, but this year it seems like there were way more signings in the opening hour of the tampering window than normal. Maybe I just forget how crazy the free agent frenzy truly is every year. Feeding frenzy is contagious.
I mean, that's what I needed.
Just like last season, the 2026 free agency series
Let's see if we can find that pasta.
with the Raiders making a big
That's it.
trade of grabbing that.
Nope.
Last year they acquired Geno Smith. This year they gave us Will Levis and that fit Max Crosby. The Ravens for a couple first round draft picks. I'll talk about that today. Alex Pierce is staying with the Colts. Mike Evans is a 49er now. That's weird. That's weird to see. Kenneth Walker will be taking handoff from Patrick Mahomes. Malik Willis signed a contract with the Dolphins shortly after they released Tua. Mitchell Trubisky signed with the Titans, presumably because they have kids in their name. Perfect fit. Chicago is officially a Kobe city. Jalen Phillips six and is making a massive contract with the Panthers. All the big free agent running backs have found new homes. Done here in Denver, but the Broncos did get a deal done with J.K. Dobbins. Thank God. Today, just a few hours into the tampering window, I want to discuss six teams coming out the game, count the biggest load in the opening tampering period. Who will talk about the least? Talk about it out the announcement to be released today. Two now is expected to sign with Atlanta on a 1 year.
Ooh.
You're watching that.
So we're going to go to Atlanta?
Former Real Madrid, talking with Brandon Jordan, want to keep this channel alive. Right here for our biggest week of the offseason as we power toward 857,000. Whatever I missed today, the news that I missed after I upload, it just keeps coming out. I will get you in the next video, I promise. Here we go.
Shoo! I can 100% do that. Look how much he trained his stamina, though. So that means he had to go 3 speed, 3 power, right? If his guts is 551 with 700 stamina, he had to. Otherwise, and the reason I say that is because if he had to win, if he had to grab himself two parents with good stamina inherits, he wouldn't. He wouldn't have those. He wouldn't have the guts because if he had good stamina inherent for parents, he probably would have hit 1,000. Well, yeah, he probably would have hit. Well, he probably would have hit 900. And she's got more stand than Tyson. I didn't even realize that. Tyson's got 561. What happened? All right, race number one. All right, race number one. Okay, cat race starts. Of course, that's why I thought about giving her focus. Okay. Um, Stop debuffing us. We're gonna run out of stam. Come on, girl. There you go, agree. There you go, Tyke. Duel each other. Yeah, perfect. Meow, 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 meow. Meow. Yes. All right. Okay. Let's see. Andreas. Late surgery. She's running late, right? Yes, Sleek Surge. Yeah. Red shift. Hmm. Responsive iron, though. Falcon stretching. They've just been farther and farther ahead of the rest of the pack. Look at my Gary Cat. Oh, we got two other ones. I didn't see the third one. Do it, O'Gary. Do it, O'Gary. Oh, buddy. Come on. Get your win. Get your first dub. Come on. Get your first dub. Her first dub. Oh, perfect. I love that frame. O'Gary Cap's first dub. In the second round of Aquarius Cup on dirt. The first round is like a toss up. It's just everybody, you know. So I knew I'd get to through the first round, but the second round, this second round is so tough, bro. The second round is so tough. Like the cap to get in to be even to have a chance to be successful is so high. And if you're free to play, yeah, that's tough. God, dang, I forgot how fast they was running. I click play and everybody goes. Everybody is just so close together in this race. Look at this. Look how far everybody is. The first six places are or five places are away from each other. That's crazy. Oh, wow. Dang. Man, how did he get where he was? I don't get it. My Falcon should have handled this Falcon. Okay, okay. Yeah, you got groundwork, but well, I guess that's understrained. Okay, that's what did it. Okay, that was the difference. Okay, okay, understrained. I ain't really worried about groundwork, but you know, but yeah, I should have handled her easily. Look at that shit, man. She came in third. All right, we got two wins. Are we gonna get a third? Yes. Knock on wood. Okay, this time she's ranked sixth, first, and fourth. Yeah, I don't. That's why I don't trust this. My low. You know what? That's fine. Because stat wise, she's not my lowest. Falcon is. But whatever I did with her, I don't. I don't know. I don't know what I did with her, but she did not. I turned S rank. I feel like this should have been S rank. Like you see what I'm saying? Maybe she needed a little bit more power, like one more power training. Boom, boom, and then she's S rank. Yeah, that has to be what it is. Okay, good, great, great, good, great, good, great, good, great. Agnes Digital bringing up the rear back there, and she's running outside. Oh, crap. He couldn't catch Agnes. But we can still win this. Falcon. Oh, Falcon. Oh, no. No. Freaking Agnes Digital. Dang, I was afraid. That's what I was afraid of. At first, the first half of the race, I was cool because she wasn't running outside. She was staying up against the rail, and if she did, she was gonna run into traffic and just fall off. If she hadn't have came up there where she did when she did, that Psyche wouldn't have caught me either. Dang. S plus. That's tough. Oh man. All right. Three recaps. Also, two possums. Neutron. Let's roll. Okay, recap off to a good start. A recap passes Falcon and then passes Falcon does her thing. Yeah, they're sending the chart. Oh, damn it. Papa's out of here. Dang, that pasta. Whew, that pasta was smoking, bro. Damn, that pasta was smoking wheels. Max Queen. Huh? All right. Oh, come on. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's make a good run here. All right. Then we get a decent lobby. We got a decent lobby. We got a decent last lobby. Well, we got a favorable last lobby, I should say, actually, because we have the only S rings. But S rings don't really mean anything, as we already know. Um, and mine aren't particularly hot S rings like that. Not even halfway. Um, Gary Cat's in a good mood. Everybody else is crying. Hold on. Okay. Is she making? Are they making them up front? Understand. Hmm. I wonder if they built this character to be a parent and then say, you know what, bump it. I'm just gonna run it. I wonder. It's underpowered, overstammed, way overstammed. The room. Well, we'll see what happens. Hey, I ain't counting nobody out. Young Pods. What you doing over here? Okay. Wow. This is all you can get out of that? Well, all right. Wow. Wow. Look like he barely got max speed. Or she. Max Queen just put a whooping on me. So, never know who you going to lose to. Let's get this dub, dog. Knocking on wood. Time to go. Three, two, one. Oh, God. They're all front running. I did not look for that. No. It might be okay though. Come on, girls. Go, Gary. Go. Go, Tyson. Falcon, you're good. Ah, shit. I can't really expect much more out of you from where you are. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, Falcon. You want to keep fighting? Bet. Come on, girls. Y'all are. Dang it, Mahono Bourbon. Ah, man. Dang it, bro. Spoiled again. A freaking chance. God dog, man. Who's big on front runners? It's the only reason she came in second, bro. God dog. Dang it. Do another Taiki run. Hmm. Oops.
about Arizona. I'm not saying Arizona's much better, but they have a significantly lower dead cap hit after releasing Kyler Murray. Willis struggled to even see the field in Tennessee, but he was extremely impressive in a small sample size that could be bridged the Packers and filling in for Jordan Love restarts the last 2 years. At the same time, this is a good chunk of money for a guy with just 155 career passing attempts, even if he did show a huge leap in years 3 and 4. Kind of like marrying someone after dating for just 6 months and only doing oral. Really, really good oral. When you see how effective Willis was at taking a deep breath. Love it. Hold it inside to make you come. And guess where he keeps his well? Weirdest move. Let's go to the Cowboys and Packers. Like a week ago, Rashawn Gary was allegedly hacked on Instagram where he posted a lengthy goodbye message to Green Bay. However, minutes later, it was Chief Forces saying that he had not been cut. The post was deleted. Turns out the hacker was none other than as the Cowboys today traded for Rashawn Gary, sending a full-round pick to the Packers. Now, that's the starting spot opposite Michael Parsons. Recording 7.5 sacks, Gary finished the season without recording a sack in the final 9 games. Which, think about it, is a perfect replacement for Michael Parsons, who had 0 sacks for the Cowboys last year. Tight end Isaiah Likely is reuniting with John Harbaugh in New York, joining the G-Men on a 3-year deal worth $40 million. I like to believe that Mark Andrews forced both Harbaugh and Likely out of Baltimore. I think this is actually a great signing for the Giants. I thought Theo Johnson had a really nice second year, and now Daniel Bellinger has signed with the Titans. So Isaiah Likely gives the G-Men a lot of versatility at tight end, and John Harbaugh has always valued having prominent tight ends. We're talking about the guy who drafted Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews, both in the first 3 rounds of the 2018 draft. When Malik Davis returns, Jackson Dart will have plenty of great options in the passing game. It took a couple hours, but the Tennessee Titans with Tom Waddle making 3 splash moves all on defense. They landed corners Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott, and John Franklin Myers for their defensive line. That's close to $170 million for their defense. Now, I need more time to process all of these moves, but I know JFN is a great signing, and I thought Flott and Taylor played really well last year. The Giants signed Tremaine Edmonds to a 3-year, $36 million deal. Josh Jones will return to the Seahawks in a key move for them. And the Bengals finally did something and eat former chief safety Brian Cook 3 years at $40 million. The Broncos released Greg Greenlaw, so they're back to taking me off. The Rams signed David Watson to a 3-year deal worth $51 million for their secondary. The Raiders just don't stop spending money. Ajabe Owe got $100 million from the Commanders to bolster their pass rush. But I'm stopping now, and this video is going to be a fucking hour. I'm like, so there's 2 things that are going on a lot here. Oh, so today's video, I typically write out all my scripts, fast stuff, everything, and really try to get my thoughts college professional man. But the page is just not going to be like that. So today, they asked for me notes on the players developers around work. As today, they announced for IBS, Oracle has announced that they will be sold off Battlefield developers after the massive success it was Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 was
And you miss.
And forget the red button. Looking at now, but it's shut off somewhere close to on, I guess. It's like delivery, yes, they are penetrating the railroad line up there. To put it in line, plus they're not even a damn home yet. I don't know if it's just loaded too late or if the bullet wasn't done or if I'm leaving the place. I don't know. Basically, it's just penetrate that. I don't even know anymore. I'm just kind of worried if the bullet even do not that or not penetrate the steel. Luckily, we have a good friend Goliath out front here just in case things get squirrely. Hopefully, that's not protection. Well, came back and hit the steel and I also didn't see any bugs. I don't exactly sure what happened there. It's one of these steel. They must have been the bullet. I guess this will help accelerate it slow enough to where it gets still. I don't know what else would have been in there. I mean, there's like a thing that the ultimate was green.
Oh, yeah.
But that is freaking athletic. Probably didn't have much to do that. Oh my God. Again, with the turkey and destroy this. I got problems together. It takes me tremendous amount of force that they're going to get around on. But when they go off, they freaking go off. That was absolutely insane. I'm off on the ground. Oh, fuck your thoughts. That boy up there, freaking wait. It was like having a radio plug in with the detonator at the same time, getting like a reference. Everyone else doing penetration. Although, that's talking about, but it's obviously probably very digital, but I don't even care. We got that freaking detonator to go off. That is what I'm looking to do on your own. Like, it's really so freaking light that they like the hardest thing ever actually go off. When they go off on the radio, I have people that understand things I've never seen on TV and put on people that's all and flash and smoke is like nothing I've seen. Everybody, how you doing? Oh, that's goblin. Come on, a lot hotter and get a lot more after it. If that was the case, I don't know if the initial thing that is saying and it's still out there. I don't know if the level is correct today. These are three insane American citizens going out there. We're going to be testing these today. Starting on this call with these penetration, but even if the rest of that, it may only take a man out of the jungle. Look at this whole final five. German lieutenant named Paul Bolt found himself in a situation his training had never prepared him for. He had a Luger in Germany's finest style, precision engineered. And I get some questions. Takes care, man. Just well, have you ever seen a video where the person who was just so unbelievably cool that by the end of the video, all you can really think is, my goodness, I wish I could. Style and substance. Even chances there are. We'll get into it. No, yeah. He does not read like a Chinese spy. I in my head, like the other spy, chick spy, somebody jumping out of the airplane. And that is that she. This story is about communication. In particular, Jen and Tracy. He's acknowledging that China wants very badly. The paper every day, one sign is alleged stealing and bad from the United States. The playbook is simple: rob, replicate, and replace. We cannot tolerate a nation that steals the fruits of our brain out. She was on like a pack rat when it came to electronic information. You have text messages, you have video, you have photos, you have so much digital evidence about what he was doing. One like a real spy and take a photo of the top secret oil. No one did able to do that. He was almost like a kid. I think it was weird he was standing for some of the bigger conflicts that were going on with China and the United States. His goal was to get U.S. citizenship to become a those thoughts. She was on that path. Whenever he's watching he's this new quirky guy. He felt like an extrovert to me. So he just saying that we're so goofy and we'll talk to anyone. He really did have a goodness to him. He just, seemed like he just wanted to do good. To have such a happy-go-lucky personality takes so much energy. It feels like it would be authentic, but has to say, I've covered China for a long time, and he shows you in many ways is from a prototypical college kid from our second story. He goes to a very prestigious university, the Beijing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics, and he studied aviation engineering. This is a very important topic in the Chinese government. Jet engines are one of the hardest to replicate technologies. These were developed primarily during World War II, and for many decades, the US and Europe have held a monopoly. China has expended a lot of effort and energy on stealing those technologies. We're trying to. Gee, you've got a job fair. About 6 months before he is set to graduate with his engineering degree. And he's kind of mysteriously labeled where the person who's reporting to be a professor recruiting for what he only describes as a confidential mission. It doesn't take long for you to realize that he's being recruited for the Ministry of China's premier intelligence. 我是我就是你身边的这个业务，喜欢的人生。我是谁？我是我吧，丁超。MSF stands for the Ministry of State Security, and basically China's main intelligence is think of combination of CIA and the FBI. The MSF doesn't really see a distinction between spying for the government and spying for Chinese government, getting the kind of secrets they would be interested in their attempt to catch up and surpass their competitors. The vast majority of the actual MSF officers stay in China and never leave China, so there's zero risk. He is unusual in that he is someone who was recruited in China and then overseas, really as an MSF agent. Yeah, that's right. One, yes, I can but it's helped them identify trade secrets of the field. And the other is that, yeah, such a job with the US. So in that sense, the perfect person to recruit to go spy for us. They are really making on business to be really cool and interesting opportunity. The change by particulars, they really like it was also something that was feel the dispense of the open instruction. Is like military into like being a spy and tech spy is a great business way. And I think that was a lot of the travel energy where aviation trade secret is really kind of important. That's where he gets his initial training. Once Chief Science with MSF, he's really excited. This might be the cause of the government. His father. He sends his friend photos of his MSF's registration form. And his friend even tells him, like, hey, you're supposed to be sending this. He is sending pictures of all these $100 bills, $2, and he laid them all over what looks like is so excited to tell somebody in the spot, and he's not supposed to, but you can't understand. Eventually, she gets his visa, he travels to Europe, gets studying at the Illinois Institute of Technology. She's kind of like the stronger start. More fun, but getting online night. He hasn't done anything. Although he traveled a lot when I left, and on one trip because of Salt Lake City. And he has come to the beautiful one that he's in life. Gets introduced to one church. I don't really feel took much time to make that decision to join the LDS church. He was so excited about it. We were many young girls, and we thought we were really cool. We would say things like, oh yeah, that's so cheap, and so we would make fun of us for that. And we do know, like, we'd have to get obvious. This is a picture of touching on the doctor today, and this is the organic touching has his favorite scripture on there, which is scripture from the Book of Mormon. The scripture says, therefore you must press forward with the steadfastness in Christ, having a perfect brightness of hope and of love of God of all men, both blessed in his Father, shall have eternal life. You have to read the opening prayer for it, and then we baptize. He would do as much as possible with the curious with that, especially if you did get really close to him. He just seems like the type of person that just exactly what he wanted to roll. She was really enjoying life in her. He had been fun. But that's I knew this maybe that highlights the fun here. I guess not. And that is really nice based on us. Hopefully, people around the country, people around the world understand that hey, we should be doing this here. I learned a ton about the NSS and the case, what the NSS does, and how it's structured, its history over time. What there have all the world handlers, people who are experts handle individual communities, make sure they're following the right processes and everything is handled by the issue function. It should be up to the responsibility what to deal with the issue of secrets, which is the one to see directions about what you need to help get us that. It obviously is first the very challenging from the NSS, issue function. She reaches out to ask him to gather information about certain scientists in the US, which she does is all around to different background checklists and download background check on 9 times. All public, commercially available, and for those Chinese nationals for major defense contracts. Really trying to gather intelligence about scientists, especially scientists who work on communication-related technologies, to try to identify those scientists and help them use video emerging technology and give them to the Chinese government. It takes too longer than it should. She gets yesterday, like, hey, I was tennis meeting. She's actually getting the background check together. And he said, well, shoot, with the subject line, big chunk of time. Now, she's facing the bottom. He's here on his visa, and that's what he's done in school. Country, you go back to China, she comes up with a plan. She's going to math program. It allows you to, but we're not visiting as special resources and talents that are military privileges is what changes the benefit for him is that what the math program is happening in 6 months a year. Join fast track to get access to information. Things like, but then they come to sort of switch any role when the guy in the red car on stage work and get customers. The natural cheese is French texture. It's yeah. Travel and is that much longer than actually terrible state. Belgium and across the United States. Should make a chance to start thinking trade stuff on. You wind up traveling to Europe and it's wrong. The person she's talking to that was an MSS officer as well. And they need to figure out how she got and how And thus we get the relationship between Chi, this guy who thinks he's a gambler, but actually is an undercover FBI agent. The FBI agent is going to fire, so all of it's recorded. There's two meetings, one in April 2018, one in May, and then one in September. She's incredibly forthcoming in a weird way. He's kind of eager to like show that he was good at his job, thinking this guy boss. He's got these big ambitions for what he's gonna go on to do once he gets into the army, once he gets his clearance. FBI undercover send a sign a receipt on which is written in Mandarin, receipt for MSS spy payment. The signal to affect the arrest would be the chief spy another case. And that would be the law for that we would not have to arrest. The problem was the FBI tried for everything except in the room there was nothing. Well, no, that's not it. That's only the so the undercover had to go in the hallway and he's given a pen by another woman. It was signs for the money that he's going to put in work. The FBI go in and then arrest the undercover for tender. The undercover actually kind of like scream in mock terror, I guess. And the bundle of other women in the FBI sit down at the table. She has started to have a conversation with them. We're going to talk but Ruth is basically like, okay, this guy that we just arrested, he's been like working with the MSS. Why are you talking to him? So we think are you familiar with the Ministry of Security in China? So he is really united in replying with basically fine. Okay, while we're there, yes. And he like okay. In the United States. So that's why we're yeah. There's some effort being made to see if he will cooperate and maybe become an asset for them. Never he doesn't decide to do that, and then they arrest him. 27-year-old G. Chapman, he is being held right now at the Metro Correctional Center in Duluth, convicted, faces up to 10 years in federal prison. I started getting Facebook message requests from different people asking how I knew him. They saw pictures of me with January 13th, 2006. 300 Argentine police officers surround Bangalore. Inside, 23 hostages lie face down on marble floor. So they call, send over, the night you stole. PNA 10, Pikachu Illustrator card for $16,492,000. On behalf of Guinness World Records, I connect to her to achieve a new record title for those not only for the most expensive Great stuff. The CFO was the man died on that in his home dungeon. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not saying this. It's just, I'm not. It's not a fake. It's not nothing. You can look it up right now. They might have. Yeah. No, it's true. They wait. The police been in. The police man dead. The police didn't do nothing. What is that? This Hollywood. I don't know. People on jail.
I'll bet you've never seen anything like this. So raw, so thin, and so jaw-dropping. This interview with Terry Crews, beloved father, husband, Christian advocate, and actor, best known from America's Got Talent. Everybody Hates Christine spent more absolutely pulverizes the violent horrors that are hiding in the dark skeletons in Humble's closet. This is making me famous, and without further ado, let's watch this insane interview. And furthermore, let's get ready for the two. Cold War was an ideological war. People said, that it's not clear what the system is best, what system will prevail. I got the issue that for a long time. The issue was it's not powerful economically.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg. Welcome back to a brand new video. Guys, I'm having a good day, and I gotta let you know, man, I will be feeling good and feeling ready to talk some shit. That's exactly what we're doing in today's video because we're gonna talk about something that we're taking around with all these videos for quite some time. That's of course the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg. I believe that we are already at the first stage.
The following audio was recovered from the archived master reel of WQBR 1340 AM on October 18, 1966. The station would go off air 4 minutes later.
We're going to settle this down and continue.
That wasn't my sleeve.
On October 18, 1966, WQBR.
Texas just dropped a whole new line of crime. They're not right. People got subs.
That's it.
The following audio was recovered from the archived master reel of WQBR 1340 AM on October 18, 1966. The station would go off air 4 minutes later.
We're going to settle this down and continue.
That wasn't my sleeve.
On October 18, 1966, WQBR 1340 AM was operating as it had for nearly 12 years. The station served Point Hollow, Ohio, and surrounding river communities with late-night news, sponsored reads, municipal updates, and rotating music blocks. Nothing in its maintenance records suggests instability. The transmission logs for that evening list routine signal strength and standard modulation levels. Later analysis by acoustics experts would note that the noise floor of the recording was unnaturally low, as if the environment itself were holding its breath. 4 staff members were present during the 10:30 p.m. segment. Harold Whitaker anchored the program. Evelyn Price managed transitions and live copy. Thomas Callahan delivered regional updates. Daniel Hargrove monitored the control board from the adjacent room. The master reel from that night was archived without notation. The following segment begins at 10:41 p.m.
You're listening to WQER, 1340 AM, bringing Mason County together, one song at a time. 10:41 on a calm October night.
If you're just tuning in, the skies are clear over the river. Cool air rolling in. So don't forget a coat as you're stepping out.
Unless you're headed to Delaney's Diner. They claim their chili keeps you warm all the way through January.
That's because it's still the same batch from January.
Careful, Thomas. We need that sponsorship. Fair enough. In other news, city officials confirmed earlier today that the Black Ridge inspection was completed ahead of schedule.
There was no audible reaction in the room. The cadence remains natural. Papers shift across the desk. A chair moves slightly.
We'll have more on that after the break. Right now, here's the Everly Brothers.
The scheduled track fails to load. No audible fault is registered on the board. The carrier signal remains active. 2 seconds pass. 3.
Daniel?
Dead air. Makes me nervous. Relax, Thomas. We've survived worse.
At 10:47 p.m., the first measurable anomaly occurs.
City officials confirmed earlier today that the bridge inspection was incomplete.
Thomas continues speaking without pause. No one acknowledges the overlap. The tonal profile matches the active studio microphone. Later spectral analysis confirms something else. The unidentified waveform begins milliseconds before Thomas forms the final word. It is not an echo. It is a prediction. The presenters do not react. They could not have heard it. This was only the beginning. The overlap at 10:47 p.m. passes without acknowledgement. The program continues.
All right, folks. Slight hiccup there. Live radio keeps us humble. Let's reset.
Still with us, Point Hollow. We'll get that track rolling in just a moment.
Before we do, a quick reminder. If you're driving along County Route 12 near the transmission field, take it slow. The fog settles heavier out there after dark. Carrier's clean.
2 seconds of silence then. The phrase mirrors Harold's earlier words. No distortion, no echo tail. It sits directly in the vocal band.
Did that replay?
The line disconnects from the music cue again.
We're going to open the phone line for a minute while Daniel checks the board. Line 2, you're on WQBR. This is Martin. I just pulled into the Shell station off County Route 12. I need to ask you something. You folks doing maintenance tonight? Not unless Daniel's hiding something from us. Something simple. There's something up there. Something. Like what, Martin? I don't know. It's big. It's burnt near the upper cross beam. Thought maybe you had a maintenance crew with a crane, but there's no truck.
Could it be a tarp or a
paying rent, we'll consider it staff. I'm not joking. It's shifted along the metal, and the whole structure's humming.
Daniel's voice can be heard faintly from the control room. Harold does not respond.
Martin, we appreciate the call. It's probably light distortion against the beam. Steel can play tricks in headlights. It's not the light. It's looking down.
No one speaks for 4 seconds.
Well, that's a first.
Maybe we should send him a free chili voucher.
No laughter follows. The Martin from the call was never identified. Despite being a regular name in the area, no Martin was reported at the Shell station that night, and the caller was never found to give a formal statement. At 10:56 p.m., a second measurable anomaly occurs.
Let's bring it back to the weather.
The timing differential, 187 milliseconds.
I'm not proud of that.
Harold,
We're fine. Folks, sometimes atmospheric conditions around large steel structures can create resonance in AM signals. Perfectly explainable. You hear that too?
This time, the studio reacts. Chairs shift. Paper falls. The unidentified signal appears simultaneously on both the studio feed and the monitoring channel. That should not be possible. Before we continue, remember one word from this segment. Just one. Humming. Keep it in mind. Because hours later, that same word appears again, in a context none of them anticipated. At 11:02 p.m., Daniel leaves the control room. His footsteps move toward the studio door.
We'll hold the line.
The electrical hum beneath the broadcast rises in pitch, and for the first time, something changes in the tonal structure of the unidentified voice. It no longer mirrors. It anticipates. At 11:04 p.m., the unidentified overlap becomes more pronounced, not louder, closer.
I went back to school at 39, 33, 42. College university. Let me help you. And Washington there was more of you. When you partner with VChat, we become an extension of your team. From the online payroll and benefits to expert HR advice. Be in Q or Q.
We're going to settle this down and continue.
This time it appears.
okay. That wasn't Mike, please.
A chair shifts. Paper slides off the desk. The air inside the studio changes. The room falls unnaturally quiet. Not panic. Focus. At 11:06 p.m., the carrier signal drops. Complete silence. No static. No gradual fade. The broadcast is simply gone. The outage lasts 4 minutes and 52 seconds. When WQBR returns at 11:11 p.m., Harold's voice is controlled.
Apologies for that interruption. We experienced a brief technical fault. We're stable now.
He sounds composed, too composed. His voice lacks the natural tremor of the previous segments.
Daniel's heading to the tower to check for structural interference. We'll continue here.
Footsteps leave the building. The door closes. The studio remains live. For 90 seconds, the program regains rhythm. Weather recap, sponsor mention, a mild joke about football standings. No overlap, no anomaly. The tension begins to thin. Then the first metallic vibration enters the field. Low, irregular. It does not sound like wind.
Harold?
We're fine.
At 11:14 p.m., Daniel's voice enters through the portable line. Wind is faint behind it.
I'm at the base. The structure's vibrating. More than it should. Loose panel?
Metal creaks above Daniel's microphone.
No. It's higher up.
The scraping sound crosses the line, slow, deliberate, not sliding metal, more like friction, like something porous and heavy dragging against a violin string. The studio goes silent. The scraping stops. 5 seconds of nothing. Then, a sudden rush of displaced air, not wind. A heavy, compressed movement, followed by a sharp metallic impact. Daniel inhales sharply.
There's
The sound comes again. Different now. Rhythmic. Broad. A deep, pulsing displacement of air close to the microphone. Like fabric snapping under tension. Or something large shifting its weight. The rhythm is uneven, not mechanical. Between each pulse, the tower hum deepens. Daniel's breathing accelerates.
there's something up here.
The microphone shifts as he moves. The pulsing sound grows closer, then stops. Silence. Too complete. Then a single metallic tap above him. Not random. Precise. Daniel does not speak. The sound returns. Not scraping now. A heavy rush of air. Closer. So close that the microphone distorts briefly. Something passes near it. The hum in the steel intensifies. Not electrical. Resonant.
Daniel, confirm your position.
No answer. Then, a violent burst of metallic reverberation. The kind produced when weight suddenly shifts against the structural steel. The portable line crackles. Daniel gasps. Not a scream. Shock. Then the line goes dead. The studio remains live. No one speaks. The low resonance does not stop. It carries faintly through the building itself. Under the broadcast. Under the silence. Then, a sound enters the studio microphone. Not from the tower, from inside. A brief movement of air close to the desk mic. Evelyn exhales sharply.
Tell me that feedback.
Harold does not answer. The sound comes again. Not loud, not aggressive, just moving. As if something adjusted its position in a room that should be empty. Then, the unidentified voice returns. Not overlapping, not anticipating. Centered, quiet. re-entered its wear immediately. After the second collapse, he remained absent for 5 hours. According to county records, emergency services were dispatched at 11:22 p.m. after multiple listeners reported abrupt transmission failure, accompanied by unusual metallic noise. 2 separate callers told dispatch they had seen something large near the upper structure of the tower shortly before the signal cut. Neither description matched known wildlife. Police arrived at the station building at 11:39 p.m. The studio lights were on. The front door was unlocked. Inside, papers were scattered across the main desk. One chair had been pushed back abruptly. The master wheel was still turning. Harold Whitaker, Evelyn Price, and Thomas Callahan were not inside. There were no signs of struggle, no blood, no indication of forced entry. At the base of the transmission tower, officers located Daniel Hargrove. He had fallen from an upper platform. The official report listed structural instability as the likely cause. No further details were placed. The tower itself showed no clear mechanical failure. Shortly after 3 a.m., something unexpected. WQBR resumed transmission. Open air, no speech, just low ambient hum. Then faintly, a rhythmic vibration, slow, measured, a scraping sound, distant. Then what investigators later classified as EVP, fragments, unstructured. The signal continued for 11 minutes before cutting again. When police re-entered the studio at dawn, the equipment was powered down. The transmitter switch was in the off position. No mechanical explanation accounted for the 3 a.m. broadcast. 2023, Dr. Mason Reed, an audio restoration specialist and forensic acoustics consultant based in Columbus, was granted limited access to the archived master reel. Reed has worked on historical broadcast recovery and degraded law enforcement recordings. He completed a full spectral analysis of the October 18th transmission. He confirmed that the post-midnight segment was not a tape artifact. It was embedded in the original recording. He also confirmed something else. The low-frequency vibration heard before Daniel's fall matches the same frequency pattern detected beneath the 3 AM transmission. The waveform is consistent, repeating, structured, not random interference. Reed described it as persistent. He noted that the waveform mirrored the resting heart rate of a large organism. Local archives contain older reports from 1966 describing unusual sightings near elevated steel structures along the river corridor. Large silhouettes, movement across crossbeams. Witnesses often mentioned a sound before they saw anything, a heavy displacement of air, followed by vibration. No official link was ever established. QBR 1340 AM never resumed regular operation. The station license expired the following year. The tower was dismantled in 1972. The master reel remains in controlled storage. Before ending his report, Dr. Reed included one final note. The word humming appears in listener call transcripts filed the morning after the incident. It was the same word used on air minutes before the first collapse. Reed did not speculate. He only documented. The final frame of the digitized audio contains no voice, only vibration. Low, persistent. The same low frequency pattern is present before Daniel's fall and beneath the 3 AM transmission, separated by hours, identical. Reed noted one additional detail. The vibration does not drift. It stabilizes, as if it found something to lock onto. Some transmissions end when the power is cut. Others end when the signal is answered. So consider this. If no one was inside the studio at 3 a.m., who was the signal stabilizing for? If you have a theory about what happened that night, leave it in the comments.
Okay. Here in like the next couple hours. The internet's darkest strange sky from the mountains to the lake. Now, it's an object that is spinning in the sky and hovering. Suddenly, it drops 700 feet right in front of her. Carson fled.
Back to the Future. Could it actually happen with a vegan? Running a small business takes strength and hustle, but you don't have to do it alone. The UPS store has your back with packing, shipping, shredding, and more. We're your one-stop shop for small business success. Come into your local store today. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Yeah, we all have that one day idea. Bring yours to life online with Hostinger. Make a move, then let success follow you.
Back to the Future. Could it actually happen with a real time machine?
2022, a man missing for 29 years, knocked on a stranger's door in Louisville, Ohio, carrying a wood box full of journals, diagrams, and evidence that shouldn't exist. His name was Mike Martin. The last time anyone saw him was 1997. The 97 to a machine he built inside his own garage had vanished. When investigators reached the property, they found the garage burned to the ground, melted copper, destroyed transformers, and a 6-foot circular burn pattern scorched into the concrete. No body, no remains. Just a handwritten note inside a metal toolbox that read, "It's not about time. It's about how you see things." For 3 decades, the world assumed he was dead. But Mike Markham came back, older, exhausted, carrying.
I was devastated. I thought, if I build a time machine that I could go back and see the figure out what was going to happen, they'd save his life.
Not of time travel, but of something that makes time travel like a children's story. What he discovered during those 29 missing years is why you need to hear this from the beginning. The discovery. Mike Markham grew up in rural Missouri in the 1970s and 80s. No degrees, no funding. Just a kid dangerously obsessed with electricity, scavenged transformers from junkyards, taught himself electronics from library books, and spent every 3 hours building anything that could throw a spark. And sometime in the early 1990s, that obsession led him to something he was never supposed to find. He had built a Jacob's ladder, 2 metal rods in a V shape, high voltage, an arc of electricity climbing upward between them. Standard physics equipment, nothing unusual. But one night, working alone in that garage, Mike positioned a cheap laser pointer to shine through the climbing arc. The hum of the transformers shifted pitch. The arc, which should have been chaotic and unstable, suddenly tightened, steady, became something almost deliberate. And then Mike noticed something no textbook had ever described. A steel washer sitting on the workbench near the arc flickered, not moved by vibration, not knocked by airflow. It was there, and then for a fraction of a second, it wasn't. Then it was back. He froze, tried it again. Screws, coins, small metal objects placed between the rods. And sometimes, for just a heartbeat, they vanish. No sound, no movement, just a breathing, impossible absence. A whole new reality for a solid object. And then the object was back, exactly where it had been, as if nothing had happened, except the air in the garage smelled sharp, ozone, and something else might be, something that made that hair on his arm stand That was the moment my Mario's life split in two. Everything before and everything after. But here's the catch. He had no idea what he was done. He just knew he was leaving. And he needed someone to tell him he wasn't losing his mind. The call in January 1995, Mike picked up the phone and called Coast to Coast AM, the legendary late night radio show hosted by Art Bell, a man who had heard everything possible called him years. Mike was nervous, stumbling over words. He told Art he built a device in his garage that could make objects vanish from reality in fractions of a second, and then reappear unchanged. Art built it. How do you know the object is real? Could it just be you? Mike's answer to Art was one. I know it disappears because I can feel it, Mike said. When the field is right, everything in the garage feels wrong. The air feels like it's holding its breath. And I'm not the only one who notices. My dog will come to the garage and birds won't land on it. Something about that feeling makes things want to be somewhere else. Dead air. Pause. Then Art said clearly, Mike, I want you to document everything. We're your witnesses. Record video. And call me back. Now, if you're the kind of person who watches stories like this, you need to subscribe right now. Because what Mike did next changed everything. And this story is nowhere close to home. Over the next year, Mike's experiments escalated dangerously. He wasn't satisfied with making objects clear. He wanted to understand them, control it, and manipulate it. And to that, he needed more power, far more than the sky. In the summer of 1955, instead of 6 industrial transformers from the rural electrical substation, he wired them into his garage. When he fired the system up, it drew so much power it caused a brownout across several neighboring properties. Light split were horrifying. Utility investigators traced the surge straight to Mike's garage. He was arrested, 60 days in county jail. And get this, those 60 days made it worse. He spent every waking hour in that cell sketching diagrams, refining calculations, planning a big build. He walked out more obsessed than he walked in. By late 1995, Mike had rebuilt the system, purchased components, better control mechanisms, more precise, laser stabilization. When they called Art Bell again, Art noticed something unusual. Mike's voice had changed fast, almost desperate. Objects aren't just flickering or hard, he said. They're gone for seconds, sometimes longer. When they come back, sometimes they come back wrong. He described those blocks and darts. It vanished. 3 full seconds of nothing, just the hum of the transformers and the sharp crack of the arc filled the space with solid objects. When the block came in, Mike picked it up. Ice cold, far colder than the surrounding air, as if it was somewhere else entirely, somewhere else. He tested it with light. It disappeared and came back into the dry, as if days had passed instead of seconds. And then Mike said something that made Art Bell stop cold. He tested it with a mouse, put it between the arcs. The mouse vanished for 5 seconds. When it reappeared, it was alive, but wrong, spinning in circles, slamming into the walls of his cage, refusing water. It died 2 days later. Mike, Art said, and you could hear something shift in his voice, something between fear and restriction. You need to stop experimenting alone. Contact your scientists. Get oversight. This is beyond what one person should be doing in the garage. Silence on the line. Then Mike quietly. I can't stop now. I'm too close. Here's the deal. He was right. He was close. But what he was close to wasn't what he thought. The final call is vanishing. In late February 1996, Mike made his final call to Coast AM. And what he said that night shocked even Art Bell's audience. A crowd that needed everything. Mike said he enlarged it. It wasn't just affecting small objects in it. He could step partially into himself. And when he did, time felt different. It's like everything slows down except you, Mike said. You just see things happen slow, emotional, seconds. And when you step out, you realize more time has passed than you experienced. Like you were gone longer than you thought. There's silence on the line. Then Art asked the question everyone listening was thinking. Mike, are you telling me you built a time machine? A long pause. Then carefully. I don't know if it's time travel, but it's something. But it disrupts normal perception or normal reality. I can't tell which, but I'm close up. I just need more power and a better state place. Our trying to pull it back. We're in scientists working in the system, but my superior is government surveillance, cars on the road, people watching his house. The call in, promise. I'll call back in March. I'll have video measurements, everything fast. That call never came. March of 1997. My wife inside. Both is letters returned. The farmhouse stood abandoned. Then the garage burned down. Investigators found melted copper, destroyed transformers, and that 6-foot circular burn pattern scorches the concrete. Nobody, no light, just a handwritten note tucked inside a metal toolbox. Case closed. Missing person report filed. Never pursued. But online, the story detonated. By summer 1997, Mike Market was between the legend, time travel, government conspiracy, dimensional portals. Everyone had a theory, no competitor. And then the legend got strange. In 1998, an internet researcher dug up a clue from 1930. The body washed up on California beach. Wearing odd clothing. In his pocket, a small rectangular metal device covered buttons and unidentified signals. The photograph was enhanced online. It noticed something chilling. It looked like something connected on the that might travel to 1930s and died there decades before he was born. Now, pay attention to this one. Because in September 2006, something broke into the silence. The signal Dr. Harold Voss, a physics professor at a small university in Oregon, ran a blog about fringe science, sat down at his desk on a Tuesday, opened his email, and felt the blood drain from his face. The center line read, "My Parker." The message, "I know people think I'm dead. I'm not, but I'm not exactly here. She worked, but not well. Almost diagrams, third generation vortex stabilization. Don't build it, just study. Understand what I do. Attached to a technical diagrams far more sophisticated than anything I've ever described there. Certain designs and equations. One is about biological effects on living tissue. Dr. Voss read the video 3 times. His hands were shaking by the second time. He tried to reply, bounced, traced the IQs of the public library. Why, the words checked. Nobody reported. Imagine my subscription, another dead end, another ghost machine.
Well, some great training. You gotta keep it up.
October 2022.
Come on, baby.
29 years after Mike Martin vanished, Anna and Melanie Carter, a young couple in their early 30s, had just purchased an old farmhouse in rural Ohio. While tearing out insulation during an attic renovation, Melanie's hand hit something solid behind her wall. A heavy wooden box, coated in decades of dust. The label, handwritten and faded in. And Martha, do not open until the right time. They cried it over together on the attic. Inside, journals filled with handwritten notes, circuit diagrams, and dates spanning from 1995 to 2021. Circuit boards, some burned, some steel, wrapped in anti-static bags, and a Polaroid photograph showing a man standing beside a large ring-shaped metal frame. Date stamp, June 21st, 2021. On the back, in the same handwriting, it did work, but not the way I thought it would. But here's the catch. One of the journals contained the exact address of the farmhouse where the Carters now live. Next to it, a note. Magnetic field stability optimal. Safe storage location. They will find it when the time is right. How did Mike know this address? How did he know the Carters would buy this specific house? How did a box hidden years ago contain documents dated 2021? Angela and Melanie posted about it on Reddit. The post went viral. In days, people who followed the Mike Markham story for decades were reaching out. And then 3 weeks later, Andrew's phone rang. No caller ID. The voice on the other end was tired and rough, but unmistakable to anyone who ever listened to its old coast-to-coast recordings. "This is Mike Markham. I hear you found my box. I'd like to explain what happened. Can I come visit?" He arrived at the Carter farmhouse evening in October 2022. 59 years old. The right age of his age normally since 1997, but he looked far older. He had weathered, hollowed out, like a man worn down by something no one else could see. What he told Andrew and Melanie over the next several hours changed everything. According to Mike, he did not travel in time, not in the way anyone imagined. The machine didn't move in time, Mike said. It desynchronized me from everyone else. I was still here, same places, same moments. But I was out of phase, like a radio tune slightly off frequency. You can still hear the music, but it's fuzzy, distant. You're present, but not quite there. He described the night of the fire, March 1997, third generation machine. The field stabilized, and Mike, in a moment of reckless confidence, stepped fully into it. No flash of light, no sensation, just a quiet, sickening feeling of disconnection, like the world had shifted slightly to the left, and he stayed in place. When he stepped out, everything was the same, but hours had passed. The machine had overheated and caught fire. Mike escaped. But when he tried to contact people, something was deeply fundamentally wrong. Friends recognized his face, but couldn't place his name. His landlord remembered renting the sunlight, but not the details. Other people's ability to perceive it. I didn't disappear, Mike said. I became hard to find, hard to remember. Like your brain couldn't quite hold on to the idea. And every time I tested the machine on myself, it got worse. I became a little less real to everyone else. Over the years, the desynchronization deepened. Jobs didn't last. Coworkers forgot he worked there. He couldn't keep a bank account because clerks couldn't remember opening it. He drifted, cash jobs, temporary rooms, places where nobody needed to remember. And all the while, he kept researching, trying to understand what he'd done. What he discovered was worse than anything he feared. The machine didn't manipulate time. It manipulated something far more fundamental: perception, memory, and the quantum probability states that determine whether a person can be observed, acknowledged, and remembered by other conscious beings. Every person exists because others remember them, Mike told the Carters. Memory creates reality, and I damage my ability to be remembered. You can see me now. We're talking, but it's fragile, and it's getting worse. The Carters asked me the obvious question: why come back now? Mike said he was running out. Each exposure had deepened the effect. He could barely stay coherent to anyone for more than a few hours. Soon he'd become completely unmemorable, present but unperceivable, existing in the spaces between people's attention. He had planned this moment years ago, hidden the box, waited for the right people to find it, people who would document everything before he slipped into unmemory. Before he left, he asked the Carters three things: send the journals to a private research archive, people who would study the work without recklessly replicating, lock the attic, some equipment was still magnetically active, and never try to contact them again. They agreed. Mike thanked them, stood up, and walked out the door. On memory. And this is the part that will stay with you. Andrew and Melanie both described this. The moment Mike stepped to the front door and into the night, they had to actively concentrate to remember what he looked like. His face began dissolving in their minds almost immediately, like trying to hold water in their fists, features blurring, details sliding away. Within minutes, Melanie grabbed a notepad and started writing down everything she could remember because the details were already slipping. The color of his jacket, gone. The shape of his hands, gone. Andrew found himself standing in the kitchen, staring at the wall, trying to recall the sound of Mike's voice. He couldn't. Within an hour, they were reading their own handwriting like a stranger's notes. The words were theirs. They recognized the pen, the paper, even the coffee stains on the corner of the page. But the memory behind the words was fading, not gone, but thinning, like fog burning off the field, leaving nothing behind. Within a week, they had to read those notes just to reconstruct the conversation at all. The emotion of it, the awe, the dread, the weight of what Mike had told them was dissolving into something vague and formless, like waking from a dream you know was important but cannot describe, no matter how hard you try. Now, years later, they say the encounter feels like something that happened to someone else entirely, a movie they have remember watching late at night. They know it was real because the journals are there, the Polaroid is there, something worse, the slow, quiet erasure of someone's presence from your mind, while the evidence of their existence sits right in front of you. If you're still here, subscribe, because the stories on this channel don't just tell you what happened, they show you what should never have been possible. The Mike Markham case leaves us with a question that has nothing to do with time machines. It's simpler than that, and far more terrifying. What happens with the thing that makes you real to other people? Their ability to perceive you, remember you, hold you in their minds, breaks. Mike's answer: you don't disappear, you don't die, you just become impossible to hold on to. A face no one can quite describe, a name that slips off the tongue, a presence that dissolves the moment you leave the room, a ghost made of flesh and blood, haunting the world in the simply. Stop noticing you exist. The Carters kept their promise. The journals were sent, the attic was locked. Since then, occasional unverified sightings. Someone matching Mike's description asking strange questions in university physics departments. A man at a conference who introduced himself as Mike Markham, but no one could remember afterward. Reports from shelters of a man with deep technical knowledge who never stayed long enough for anyone to learn his name. Traces, echoes, each sighting a little hazier than the last. Each witness a little less certain they saw anyone at all. The fate of the man moving further into unknown. Somewhere, Mike Markham is still out there, walking through a world that can barely see him, still breathing, still moving, still trying to be remembered before the last thread snaps and falls through the cracks of reality. Alive, present, and irreversibly forgotten. The machine worked, just not the way it would, not being expected, and the price was a bit worse than death. Mike Markham found a way to break reality, and reality drove him back. On 1950. It's more than a movie. It's a new job for her, a new baseball team for him, and for Badger, it's a new yard with more room to run. It's more than a movie, and we're more than a truck. On 1943. After withstanding a Japanese dead charge attack for an hour, an American submarine commander tries to finally make his escape. Using 4 explosions threatening his retreat. In World War II, the subsea weapon allows warriors to fight from beneath the waves. Coming north into Africa, the heavy strike back. Revolution, but still sometimes primitive. In the desperate bid to change the course of history. Their stories are legend. September 12, 1943. The Western Pacific. American submarine USS Aqaurius races to get ahead of the Japanese convoy. Lieutenant Commander Slade Cutter, the submarine executive officer, or XO, has tracked the convoy from the island of Palau since the very before. It travels west, thought to be loaded with supplies for Japanese troops in the Philippines. But although Cutter is lined up to shot, he hasn't received permission to die for the final approach. He puts on a pair of red lens goggles and heads below to rouse the captain. Cutter locates Commander Donald McGregor in the water. As XO, he keeps McGregor appraised of their progress and had already requested permission to attack, but was turned down. Now, McGregor finally agrees. He gives his crew permission to dive and prepare torpedoes.
I think I think Apple song.
Graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy back in 1926. McGregor has a reputation for being calculated, organized, and cautious.
McGregor is old school. So these guys, they come up through the ranks during peace. They weren't sure how their submarines would perform. They had these fears of how the Japanese would respond. And all of this really kind of created that paralysis.
With the war done, McGregor commanded the submarine USS Guard. During four patrols, they sank just one frigate.
McGregor, unfortunately, blames his officers. In fact, goes so far as to say that there are poor qualities. So rather than sort of own up to his own mistakes, he pushes that blame responsibility on his subordinates.
In command of a brand new submarine on its first war patrol, McGregor has been surrounded with a group of officers with lots of experience.
These are Naval Academy graduates. These are battle-tested sailors. Really stack the deck for them to be able to have great success.
When McGregor arrives in the conning tower, he uses the periscope to investigate. A few seconds later, he claims he can't see the convoy. McGregor blamed the Senate and Japanese experts for abandoning the attack. But Cutter and the other officers believe his vision was impaired because he failed to adjust his eyes to the dark. The United States Navy adopts red lighting and red lens goggles specifically to protect and improve night vision. At the back of the eye, there are two eyes receptors. Those called cones to see color in the presence of light, while others focus rods or best in the dark to detect. A protein called rhodopsin activates the rods to make them more sensitive. Rhodopsin builds on the protein.
Probably number one favorite too.
It's imperative that they climatize their eyes. So when they go out on deck, they can pinpoint any other ship or destroyer. They don't have 10 minutes to let their eyes adjust. The moment they step out there, their threats potentially all about.
Of all the colors, red stimulates the right face and stimulates starts best. So crew members with a deck slide on red lens goggles or heading out and reduce the time their eyes take to adjust to the dark outside.
For the captains, you just give up like he did because he had not protected his night vision, and to turn away from a very constant attack against a very important target likely would have been just crushing to all these other officers and all these sailors.
100 patrol, which have nothing to show for themselves. The gunner doesn't give up. At dawn, he starts to pursue the convoy again. To catch the Japanese ships, Singapores will have to race all day on the surface to stay free from each, and then set up another magnitude. The U.S. Navy assigns Slade Cutter as McGregor's executive officer in hopes that the two men will complement.
Slade Cutter was a Naval Academy graduate in the class of 1935. He was able to go to the USS Popham, where he earned his Dolphins, and they went from being the most junior officer on board to eventually being the executive officer, the second in command of the submarine, all in about a 3-year period.
After his experiences for USS Popham, Cutter sets up aggressive attacks. Others McGregor fails to capitalize.
Unfortunately, Commander McGregor and Cutter developed a sort of relationship more normally only see in the movies. The very intense, hostile relationship between the captain and the executive officer.
Now they're chasing them further and further from their assigned patrol area. They were sent out to disrupt shipping around a key stronghold in the Japanese Empire. Havana functions as a critical crossroad between Japan, Guam to the south, and the Philippines further west. Japanese convoys assemble here to transport supplies throughout the empire, as well as oil back to the home islands. A Japanese airfield and large naval base
Oh, that's nice.
and the surrounding waters from American submarines.
Almost had 1,000
The
wits.
ship met distrust by the submarine force leadership to send its crew on their very first war patrol to such a prime hunting ground.
It's out to the pursuit. They slowly get closer to the convoy. But Slate Cutter starts to lose focus. He's been awake since early the day before.
These guys are fueling themselves on coffee and cigarettes. And the flip side of that, of course, is that it takes a while for them to come back down. And so the combination of the build up and the come down, it leads to exhaustion over time.
And when Cutter can no longer keep his eyes open, he asks the torpedo deck computer officer, Lieutenant Elbert Linden, to replace him on the bridge. He heads below to get some rest, in preparation for an attack later that night. A few hours later, a crewman wakes Cutter. Linden wants to see him. Cutter finds the TVC operator. He learns that McGregor was Linden as officer on watch. Then allow the convoy to slip away. For a second time, USS Seahorse lost contact with the convoy, while their commander controlled the pursuit. It would unsettle the crew.
This is probably absolutely tearing people apart, creating morale problems, and unfortunately creating a lot of stress for the more senior officers in the ship who are required to back up the commanding officer, but at the same time don't believe in him.
When an update is received, Commander of Pacific Submarines orders Donald McGregor to return closer to the Lao.
Admiral Lockwood normally prized the autonomy of his captains, and so for him to dive in and micromanage the captain of
I
one
mean, she could mouth it,
shows a growing lack
but
of
other
confidence
than that,
in
I mean,
McGregor
yeah.
and the Seahorse and their ability to execute the mission they've been given.
Standard distance, ramp up, competitive spirit, and mouth serve. I mean, that's decent. Not the best. All right.
Estimated to be 10,000 tons. No enemy control boats or aircraft in sight. It's a prime opportunity.
Everything the Japanese Empire has is power on fuel. Battleships, aircraft carriers, bombers, and of course, Japan can't produce any of its own oil, so they have to import all of it. So these tankers are the lifeblood of
Ooh,
the
close.
Japanese
A5
Empire.
almost.
The officer of the deck calls for Cutter and not McGregor.
This is probably a key moment when some of the officers, if not the crew, have made a decision that the person who's going to execute the mission, get the job done, is Slate Cutter and not the captain. This is a breakdown in Navy discipline, the Navy chain of command.
Cutter doesn't summon a captain either. Instead, he maneuvers for an attack.
Cutter probably recognized that he was beginning to step outside of his responsibilities and role as the executive officer.
Holding up a perfect torpedo
All right, I'm gonna end the stream. We're gonna start one stream